Greetings, YouTube. Today I'd like to talk about a source or resource that folks that do crafting, such as myself, uh, recently found that really came through for me. They were able to find something for me that I was literally able to find no place else. I have a number of these. Now this is an eye bolt. In fact, this eye bolt was actually about that much longer. I already cut part of this off for a project. Um, so this is obviously a very, very big eye bolt. It is a 7/8 inch 9 thread. Now, here's the funny thing. Uh, I got these for a steal, like nothing, literally. It was at a yard sale, and I asked the guy how much he wanted for them. He's like, you want those things? You can have them. And I got 6 of these things, and I use them as just as sections of threading for my projects in my shop. I make post-apocalyptic weapons and armor, and I use these kind of things to make points, fasteners, and stuff like that. And seeing as I got them for nothing, that's awesome. And each of them came with like one square fastener, which is awesome. But I'm gonna need more than that if I'm gonna use these in my projects. I actually had these around in my shop for quite a while before I even remembered I had them. I think they're used for like guy lines and stuff, for like tie downs for like big towers or something, like antennas and stuff. I actually have no idea what they were originally designed for, but they're very, very big. What does this say? SWL, no, yeah, SWL-3T. So whatever the heck that means. That's the that's the code on them. But so I needed a nut, and I wasn't 100% sure what the thread side was at first. I knew it wasn't 1 inch because I had a bunch of 1 inch nuts in my shop. Um, and I didn't have anything larger than 5/8, I think, other than that. So I went and started poking around Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace. I even went to Granger. And I really had a lot of hope for Granger. Granger is a supplier that has a wide inventory. And they had 7/8 nuts, even 7/8 nines. But they had 7/8 nines zinc coated. Okay, that's important. Remember that. And then I poked around, and then I discovered a place called KL Jack Industrial Suppliers, which should be the name in the video that you're watching at the moment. A place I'd never heard of, which is a crying goddamn shame. So I went there. It was like the last trip of the day. I'm gonna go home and have some lunch, and I'm like, I was kind of, you know, I'd been to a number of places to do a number of other things, and I'd been looking for these things for like almost 3 weeks. So I go in. I said, "Hey, you got a nut for this thing?" And one of the people was helpful. He ran out back to the supply because they have a showroom which has some things on display and everything else is in a big warehouse. Um, just dozens of huge racks going floor to ceiling kind of thing. A big box store, but actually but actually for real inventory, not retail stuff. And he came back and he had one nut on there and it fit perfectly. And I said, well, what the heck is that? He said, you mean you found it? I couldn't find it. He says, did you try using zinc coated? I said, yeah, why? He says, well, that's the problem. He said, zinc coated nuts as opposed to, you know, the hot dip galvanized stuff like this. He says, the pitch of the teeth is slightly different to compensate for the zinc coating. And because of that, you can get it started, but it won't go on. He said, yeah, I was able to get one of those things on about, that far, and then it just didn't go any further. He said, exactly. So that's why you could not get it to go any further, because you were trying to put a zinc coated nut onto this not zinc coated bolt. Um, which was not only awesome that the guy was able to find me the nut I needed, but he was able to tell me why I couldn't find the nut I needed, which is just as important to me. I am a neurodivergent pedant, so I really like to know those kind of details. So I asked him, I said, what kind of unit do you have them in? Because I needed more than one, obviously. And he said that he had a box 15. I said, cool, take a box 15. And of curiosity, I asked him, said, what's the next, size quantity above that in the container? He's like 180. He said, no, I don't need 180. I'll take the 15s. Um, and they also had a nice little display of drill bits at the counter. And I said, what about, I said, what are these special about these drill bits? He said, they're uh, uh, carbide coated. I said, okay, well, I'll take one of the quarter-inch ones. And I have tried it. So far, it's been doing pretty good. Um, so I picked a box of 15 of these up for 12 bucks, less than $1 a nut. All right, and a lot of the other places I was looking at, because I have bought 1-inch nuts before for other projects, they're much more expensive than that. Okay, now I know there's a difference between 7/8 and 1 inch, but it was a significant amount of difference. And I was so thrilled to find these guys, because not only was the person pleasant, he was helpful. He could explain to me why the heck I couldn't find what I was looking for, even though I was close. I mean, I did find the right kind of nut. I just found the right kind of nut that had the wrong kind of metal coating process on it. Um, So now I have a box of 15 of these things, and 2 of them are on this right now because I'll be using these today for a project. I'll be making a new mace, and these are going to be a major component for said mace. Um, so yeah, I'm really happy about this in a big fat hairy way. I will be going back to KL Jack in the future, and they are apparently a industrial supplier, mostly based in Maine. They have one location in New Hampshire. Awesome. Um, and they were founded in 1979. It kind of makes me smile to see to find a company that is, much considerably younger than I am. Um, I don't know why. It just always makes me smile when I find a young company that does industrial stuff. Um, but I mean, 79. They've still been around for a while, and I think they have 4 or 5 locations total. The other ones are all in Maine. But I will definitely be going back to KL Jack in the future for my fastening needs and other supplies. I have to poke around their site and see what else they have. I know they had the big bottles of Loctite. I saw those on display. I'll be buying one of those next time I'm there because I've got a small little tubey things. Big bottle will make my life a little easier. Um, but yeah, just I am so happy. And if you do crafting and you've been looking for that thing and you finally find that thing that's going to actually let you do the project that you need to do, you are always really thrilled. And anyone who hasn't had that experience does not know what I'm talking about. So yeah, if you live in Maine, you're all set. If you live in New Hampshire, there's one location, but they do ship. So they have a huge inventory, um, and they may have something that you need that you don't. Now, I know I would have normally gone to like Bolt Depot for this, but I didn't know what I needed. And so having a place that's in the same state that had what I needed and had the information about why I couldn't find it is just as important to me as finding a good resource like Bolt Depot is. So yeah, if I need 200 quarter 20 acorn nuts, I'll go to Boat Depot. But if I need something like this, I'm going to go to KL Jack because they're a local company. They're obviously got local workers who are well informed, and they helped me when I didn't find anybody else who could. So yeah, so look them up. kljack.com, I believe is what it is. They have a decent inventory. I have to poke around their site a little bit more, though their web presence isn't what you'd call uh, uh, really all up to date because like I pulled it up for this video and it's like telling you about this fall catalog 2021. So yeah, maybe somebody that works for their web hosting should be update that.